chains hiss like a snake, so I stood real still, let the silence break. Wind whispered low like a half-lost prayer, heat in my ribs burning like a crooked dare. I muttered, if you're here to kill me, then dip them alright, chains, do it clean, don't drag it out again. Iron tightened first like it tasted my fear, metal coat bit deep till the pain rained clear. I whispered, stillness ain't me giving, but hell, maybe stillness is where I begin. And the chains broke open when I stood there still, like they knew a man who ain't run's a man of will. Stillness ain't surrender, sometimes it's the trigger. Some locks break wide when your soul stands bigger. If the iron steps back, you ain't weak, you're just finally on track. If the iron steps back, you ain't cleansed, but you're taking your power back. I remember nights when I ran too damn fast, trying to bury what refused to stay past. Every lie I lived came crawling home, every voice I drowned rose up in a tone. Camera close, my fingers bleed on the steel, blood drips slow like the truth you can't steal. Then she appeared in my mind, wild eyes go, saying stand your ground, baby, don't fold, don't fold. A darker voice follow, deeper than sin. Boy, you shake now when the chains are win. I answer both, her love and hell's call. I ain't moving, I ain't tripping, I ain't gonna fall. I ain't trembled then like it feared my calm. Metal shook loud like a war in my palm. I whispered, if stillness is how I get free, then let this moment be the death of the old me. And the chains broke open when I stood there still. Dust flew up like even the earth knew my will. Stillness ain't surrender, sometimes it's the trigger. Some souls rise slow but come back bigger. If the iron steps back, you ain't losing, you're taking your steps back. If the iron steps back, you ain't holy, but you ain't going black. I pressed my hand on the ground so bare, said if I rise today, I rise from right here. Iron links fell dead like they given their say. My shadow stood tall, showed me the way. Stillness ain't surrender, it's the steel inside, the kind you earn when you quit trying to hide. And those chains that tried to choke my will open wide the moment I stood still. If the iron steps back, if the iron steps back, if the iron steps back, you ain't holy, but you ain't going black. Snow hit my skin like needles from a busted cross. Not too damn quiet, full of hunger and loss. My fire was small, just a trembling light. Flame fighting hard like I knew it wouldn't last the night. Camera tilt down, my hands shaking in the snow. Every breath fogged up like a confession I don't show. I whispered, Lord, I ain't got much to live. Wind nestled back like it wanted my death. Boot tracks behind me, frozen, hard to sand. Blood on my sleeve, stiff with a cold soaked in. I laid down slow, thinking maybe that was it. Then heard a growl, cut the dark like a flint struck flit. Three wolves step close, eyes sharp like fate. Breath hot as judgment on a man too late. I whispered, if you're here to take my air. One wolf sat down like it wanted me to dare. And the wolf held guard when I needed my last breath. Not hunting me down, not dealing me dead. The wild protects those who refuse to die quiet. shivering by the fire, heat barely holding through the cold desire. One wolf leaned in, brave one on my hand, like I smelled the man too damn stubborn to disband. Then a darker whisper rose up from the trees, sounded like my lover on her wounded knees. Baby, don't lay down, don't you let go yet. Her voice mixed with the wolf silhouette. I muttered, if you beast believe I still fight, then hell, maybe I ain't dying tonight. Wolves lifted their heads toward the sky, howling like a choir that refused to let me die. And the wolves held guard when I needed my last breath. Cold world waiting on my quiet death. The wild protects those who refuse to die quiet. Some fires stay lit cause the dark won't buy it. If the night still bad, you ain't losing, you're taking your damn pulse back. If the night steps back, you ain't redeemed, but you ain't off the track. I press my hand to that dying flame. Said if I rise again, I'll rise at my own my name. Wolves lean closer like they knew my fight. Their eyes the only truth in that frozen night. The wild God's man who still got breath to give, who fight their own death and choose to live. And when the wolves choose you instead of death, you rise again with your very last breath. That desert night was burning cold and white, moon dust floating like ghosts I bury inside. Then I heard a roar deep as some furnace pit. Sand jumped up like hell itself took a hit. Camera pans left a shadow 3 times my height. Teeth long as hatchets, breath black like night. It stomped the ground, waiting for my fear, but I stood still, said I ain't moving from my head. Its eyes lit up like brimstone turning red. Heat on my skin felt like words I never said. I whispered, if you're here to kill me, try, but understand something else already did inside. It leaned down slow like it tasted my soul. Claws dragging sand like it swallowed my road. I told that demon, you ain't here to hard chase. You're just here to judge if I still keep my place. And the demon backed off when I stepped up strong, like it realized I ain't running from nothing no more wrong. Not all monsters are meant to hunt, some just watch who stands in the front. If the shadows bow slow, then you ain't done rising, you ain't done growing, no, no. If the shadows bow slow, hell ain't owning you, it's just letting you go. I took one step closer, dust kicked like fire. Wind his secrets from every old liar. Demon drew back, breathe shaking like truth, like it smelled every scar I earned in my youth. Camera tilt down my hand, bleeding from a cut, a small old wound I tore open just to keep my gut. I dragged that blood across my chest like a sign, a ritual mark saying this fire's still mine. I heard my lover's voice drip soft in the heat. Baby, stand your ground, don't ever retreat. Then the demon echoed a tone dark, I'm sulking here. Not clean, not pure, but I'm done with the fear. The demon blinks slow, step back into the glow, like it bowed to the man I chose to show. And the demon backed off when I didn't bend. Hellfire glowing like it wanted to command. Not all monsters are meant to chase. Some judge the steel that's still in your face. If the shadows bow slow, then you ain't breaking, you're just letting go. Oh, if the shadows bow slow, you ain't holy, but you ain't below. I press my palm to the high red sand, said I'll carry my sins till I understand. The demon nodded once like it knew my fight and vanished back into the cracks of night. Not all monsters are meant to chase. Monsters are meant to chase. Some light the road you're meant to face. Road you're meant to face. And when the dark steps back from your door, you ain't the lost one anymore. Stepped inside that chapel roof, half gone. Moonlight spilling through the cracks like a cone. Dust floated slow like forgotten prayers. Pews crooked sideways like old wooden scares. Camera pans to an altar drowning shade. A busted sword lay there like a debt I never paid. Metal crack cold dead like a long lost friend. But my boots kept moving till I reached its end. I whisper, you still remember who I was. Still stay silent, then it shivered just because a sinner's hand touched what saints threw away. And the blade woke up like it knew my name that day. It trembled in my grip like a trapped ghost. He crawled up the hill like a long buried bull. Still whispered, boy, you ain't meant to be through. I said, old friend, I rise, so you rising too. If the blade wakes up, then you ain't done fighting, you ain't done up. If the blade wakes up, you ain't clean, but hell, you ain't stuck. I saw my reflection split across that steel. One side sinner, one side stubborn damn will. The sword hung low like a hymn gone wrong. Like it wanted blood, but it wanted me strong. Close a scar across my thumb. I pressed it to the edge till it tasted where I'm from. Blood ran down like a vow I couldn't hide. And the blade lit brighter than a preacher's lie. Then she appeared in the doorway, hair dust red, eyes wide saying, I thought you were for dead. I smirked, not tonight, gotta water her begin. She whispered, damn fool, your fight ain't with them, it's within. I told her, if I gotta bleed to know my ex-truth, then let this steel remind me of the cost of my youth. The blade vibrated like a warning in the air, like it knew my demons better than I'd ever dare. That sword screamed loud when I held it again. Flame climbed high like it wanted to clean my sin. Oh, steel rises for the ones who still stand. Oh, fire burns bright in a dead man's hand. If the blade real tough. I raised that sword where the moonlight fell, so judge me honest, not by heaven, not by hell. Ruined chapel echoed like it heard my crime. Blade glowed brighter like it screamed, it's your time. Oh, steel rises for the ones who rise, for the ones who look their own damn lies in the eyes. And when that blade screams for your hand again, you ain't the lost man, you're the one who stands. Black storm split the desert sky in two. Lightning fell like 1,000 whips coming through. Wind cut my coat till it felt like skin. Dust on my tongue tasted like every damn sin. I ain't got gloves, ain't got no shield, just bare hand raised to that open field. Heaven spat fire like it wanted me gone. Hell in my chest said, boy, stay it on. Camera pans wide, there's a dark sky torn red. Tracks behind me like ghosts I never fed. I told the storm, come on, I'm right here. It cracked the earth like it finally heard me clear. Lightning leaned down like it wanted my name. Wind hit soft, you ain't done with your blame. I said, storm, I ain't looking to be set free. Just a man standing, not the man I used to be. And that storm bowed down, bent his fire toward me.
Drew a bright white line where my next step be.
When lightning shows mercy, you ain't lost no more. It cuts a crooked path like a half-open door. If the storm bows low, that means you ain't done, means you still glow. If the storm bows low, it ain't forgiveness, it's direction you owe. I walked that line, lightning carved in sand. Every step shook like the earth took stand. Saw my old sins flicker in the stone's blue light. Every scar bright as a crossroads at night. I heard a voice in the thunder's raw cry. My love ain't clean, but it don't let you die. Her name burned warm in that frozen air. While rough love tangled up in my prayer. And the storm spoke louder than any priest. Tore open clouds like unchaining a beast. It didn't hit me, just tore up the ground. Showed me the path where my guilt stays bound. I said, Lord, if you're watching, don't lift this pain. Just keep me standing in the burning in rain. Lightning crack close, whisper walking through. Like the storm wasn't killing, just telling me the truth. And that storm bowed down, bent his fire toward me.
Drew a bright white line where my next step be.
When lightning shows mercy, you ain't lost no more. It cuts a crooked path like a half-open door. If the storm bows low, that means you ain't done, means you still glow. If the storm bows low, it ain't forgiveness, it's direction you owe. I pressed my hand and the soul still warm from the blast. Said, judge me now, not by my past. Storm went quiet like it bowed one more. Left me standing at a brand new door. When lightning balls, they lost anymore. footsteps slow through the midnight dust. Boots sharing breathe like they carry so much trust. The old cathedral stood crooked in the cold black air. Windows blind, cross rusted like it didn't care. Folks say that door ain't moved in 100 years. Doors rusted shut by prayers and fears. But you didn't knock like a man begging for grace. You knock like someone checking if he still had a face. Camera close up, your knuckles raw, breath in. One whisper in the dark said, boy, don't you begin. But you muttered back low, hell, I gotta know if I'm still breathing or if I died a long time ago. You pressed your hand on that old wood grain. Blood slipped down slow like a crooked red chain. Don't whisper, turn back, you ain't welcome up here. You said I ain't looking for mercy, just something to clear. Whoa, and that door unlocked when you bled your name. Both screamed loud like they shared your blame. Some gates open only for the damned who keep walking. Some truths speak only when your blood does the talking. If the door breaks wide, you ain't running, you're still on God's side. If the door breaks wide, it ain't forgiveness, it's a path you gotta ride. Inside was cold like the ribs of a grave. Your shadow long as ever sin you can't say. Candles half their flicker like they knew your crime. Glass saints staring down like you owed them time. You touched that altar wood, walked with years. Heard your mama's voice humming through your fears. Then your lover's whisper slid in like a knife. Baby, fate don't fix it, just cut you back to hell like a Bible fell open as if someone threw it. Pages turned fast like the wind already knew it. You asked the dark, tell me why I'm under here. The dark said back to carry what you won't fear. Your blood kept falling on that ancient stone. Every drop sounded like a debt you're still on. You whisper, Lord, I ain't asking to be fit clean. Just let me stand where the broken still lean. Oh, and that door unlocked when you bled your name. World outside burning, but inside stayed the same. Some gates open only for the damned who keep walking. Some truths rise only when your blood starts talking. If the door breaks wide, you ain't forgiven, but you ain't denied. If the door breaks wide, you ain't holy, but you ain't just tried. You laid your hand on the cross-shaped scar. Said, I'll carry this weight no matter how far. Church went silent, even ghosts held their breath as if they knew you'd outwalk even death. Some gates open only for the damned who keep moving. Some wounds heal only when the hurt stays proven. You step back out with the night in your eyes, not safe, just awake under God's cracked skies. Yeah, some gates open only for the damned who still rise. Sun up lit on the busted uptown square. Crowd humming low like a cheap back alley prayer. Kicking snare slow steady behind the beat. Roll bitch tie kissing on the side of my neck. Boots on rotten boards, heaven looking like a red. Sheriff lights of smoke with his crooked little grin. Preacher holds a Bible like bleach for my sin. My wild-eyed girl stands way back in the smoke. Tears cut lines through the pain and the bro.
Judge yells, boy, you done run out of breath.
I laugh at blood, say hell, so they higher. Winds crossbeam with all his shame. Whole damn town waiting on my last name. I feel that news talk soft in my ear. Die quiet, boy, ain't nothing left here. I tell that road, you don't own my bread. If I gotta bow, I'll bow over your dead. So I stand up straight with a cracked up spine. Eyes on the sky like it still stays in mine. Heard that beam grown low like it knew my crime. Like I knew I wouldn't break this time. If the gallows fear your spine, you ain't done rising, you ain't done rising. Gallows fear your spine. That ain't your way, boy, that's your sign. The gallows fear your spine. You ain't done rising, you ain't done rising. The gallows fear your spine. That ain't your way, boy, that's your sign. Boys cry out like bones under both my feet. Sun cuts halos through the dust and the heat. I see my past in every face down there. Every stolen night, every crooked little prayer. Devil in my chest says to right your fear.
Angel in my scar says standing in your hill.
I bite my tongue till my mouth turns red.
Spit on the rope like a blessing for the dead.
The preacher whispers, son, you still can't hear.
I smirk, Father, I'm already the steel.
My girl have laughed through the sword and the pain.
Either way you fall, you ain't dying the same.
The wind turns cold, but my blood stays warm. Heart beats slow like a dead man's storm. I say to God, if you ain't gonna choose, at least let me stand while you tighten this noose. So I stand up straight with a cracked up spine. Eyes on the sky like it still stays in mine. Heard that beam grown low like it knew my crime. Like it knew I wouldn't break this time. If the gallows fear your spine, you ain't done rising, you ain't done rising. The gallows fear your spine. That ain't your grave, boy, that's your sign. But if the reapers fear your spine, you ain't done rising, you ain't done rising. The gallows fear your spine. That ain't your grave, boy, that's your sign. Wood bows down like it wanted to pray. Rope slips loose, tries to walk away. I wrap that noose from my wrist like a scarred old ring. Burn my face on a poster they once called Bouquet. Now I walk off slow with a bruised bad spine. Dust in my heels like it fell in line. Hell in my past, but it ain't my throne. I carry my rope like a faith I own. If the gallows fear my spine, I ain't done rising, I ain't done rising. The gallows fear my spine. I ain't done paying, but I ain't confined. If the gallows fear my spine. I'm not done rising. Yeah, it's time. Midnight hung like a noose over red clay ground. Lanterns in a circle, no one made a sound. 4 black hats, shovels hitting hard packed dirt. Every dull thud saying he ain't leaving this hurt. They dropped him down in that box like a bad old hymn. Cross on the hill, wouldn't even look at him. Whiskey on their breath, cheap prayers in the air. Boots walked off, left his name down there. Sheriff Spit said hell's got room for that boy. Preacher side low sin eats up its own joy. Only thing listening was a cold packed clay, and the gun he loved buried just an arm's length away. Down in the dark he tasted wet red mud. Hurt his own heart like a hammer in his blood. Laid down, said the dirt, you're done with this war. But his bones said, boy, you still got one more. That grave tried to lock him under. Dirt in his mouth, no light, no thunder. But the ground split wide like it changed his mind. Coughed him back up to the dust and the shine. A grave ain't hold a man, still choosing forward. You can drown his name, but you can't stop his footstep onward. If the earth spits out what it tried to own, he ain't done bleeding, but he ain't done grown. He clawed through wood till his fingers tore. Nails left streaks on the coffin like tally marks of war. Boot heel braced on the lid, one last hard kick. Casket mouth open like the ground turned sick. Mud broke open, spat him in the cold night air. He rose like a ghost, grave dirt in his hair. One eye swollen, shirt stuck to his side. Blood and clay making a second hide. He stumbled uphill toward the old broke cross where he once kissed her, counting all his loss. Found her there trembling with a kerosene flame. She dropped that lamp when she heard his name. She whispered, baby, you ain't supposed to steal and breathe. He said, I ain't back clean, I'm just back not to leave. He laid his gun down at the foot of that tree, then pick it up slow, this time it answers to me. Look at that cross at the town and the glow, at the blood in his hands, they all helped to flow. Said, Lord, if you're watching, don't fix what I do, just watch this dirt, see what a dead man will push through. Try to lock him under. Dirt in his mouth, no light, no thunder. But the ground split wide like it changed his mind. Spit him back up to the dust and the shine. A grave can't hold a man, still choosing forward. You can drown his body, but you can't turn his footstep onward. If the earth spits out what it tried to own, he ain't forgiven, but he ain't just born. He walks that ridge where the dead stay bound. Mud on his boots, heart tied to this ground. Says, bury me twice, I'll rise up twice as mean. I ain't your saint, I'm the soul that hell couldn't clean. 'Cause a grave can't hold a man, still choosing forward. Cold moonshine on a boy too stubborn to stay buried. He'll carry his sins like a black iron crown, but his feet keep burning these roads back down. Yeah, the grave that tried to take him down had to spit him out when it chose one more round. Night was thick, black as a grave with no name. No stars, no path, just the dark calling my shame. I walk blind, boots sinking in the dust, hands cold numb like a man God forgot to trust. Camera close, breath fogging in a world with no light, heart beating slow like it feared I'd quit the fight. I muttered, if this is death then let it be, it's true. But the dark leaned in, whispered, boy I'm testing you. I took one step, slow and rough on the stone, and the dark split open like it wanted me gone. Not to save me, you know, it backed off in fear, like it knew a man who kept walking wasn't dying here. I whispered, if you're scared of me then show your face. Darkness trembled low like it hated my grace. Wind hissed sharp like a warning in the veil, but I stepped again, truth in my trail, and the darkness moved back when I stepped in, like it feared the fire burning under my skin. If the dark fears your footsteps, keep walking, son. Some roads show up only when you refuse to run. If the shadows pull wide, you ain't weak, you got something they can't hide. If the shadows pull wide, you ain't holy but you're still on the ride. I walk further in where the night felt alive. Every ghost of my past trying hard to survive. Camera wide, canyon wall swallow the sound. Silence thick enough to drag any sinner down. Then I heard a voice faint, wild as wind. Baby, walk straight, don't you dare give in. Next came the devil smirking in the shade. Keep stepping, boy, see how courage gets made. I said, both of you hush, I ain't bowing to fear. My footsteps speak louder than the lies I hear. Darkness twitched once like it felt my breath, and slid aside slow like it bowed to my death. But I didn't die, I stepped again. I whispered, if walking's all I got left to from proving, step by step is how I move. The dark curled back like a beast taking aim, but it parted again when I called my own name. And the darkness moved back when I stepped in, world open and slow like it feared my skin. If the dark fears your footsteps, keep walking, son. Some truths wake up only when the night comes undone. If the shadows pull wide, if the shadows pull wide, you ain't dying, you're pulling your damn soul back inside. If the shadows pull wide, you ain't redeemed, but you ain't letting them decide. If the shadows pull wide, I ain't your dust where the darkness broke. Said if light won't come, then I'll be my own stroke. Night trembled once, yeah, it heard my call, splitting clean open with the weight of my fall and my rise. If the dark steps back from the fire in your chest, you ain't chosen, you're just standing with the blessed. And when the night parts ways for your next step, keep walking, that's how the dam stay kept. That's how the dam stay kept. Keep walking, that's how the dam stay kept. You knelt in the dust, down barely crawling into the sky. Blood on your brow where the thorns bit high. That crown weren't holy, just a circle of pain, tightened down every time you cursed your name. Camera slow, zoom, your fingers shake on the ground. Breath it's slow like a wounded cornered hound. You mutter, why me? Just once that night. Wind slap back, pain bends only when you fight. So you shut your mouth, swallow that flame, let the thorns dig deep without speaking your shame. And right then they loosened, shown a line of dry red, like the crown got tired of her, no man refused to be led. You whispered it hurts the toll, I'll pay it slow, voice steadying like the desert learning to grow. Crown trembled faint like it knew your will, metal softening as the world grew still. And the thorn crown eased when you didn't cry. Pain bowing down though it tried to make you die. Pain bends for the man who doesn't, son. Some stones break only when you don't run. If the hurt steps back, you ain't weak, you're taking your damn soul back. If the hurt steps back, you ain't holy, but you ain't off the track. The desert turns black, shadow long as every burden on your back. Camera wide, sun bleeding gold through the dust, light hitting your wounds like a truth you could trust. A voice rose in, your mama's old hymn, baby don't curse the world, let the world curse him. Then the devil chuckled low behind your ear, complain once more and I'll keep you here. But you didn't speak, you breathed through the sting, held your jaw tight like a man wearing a ring. Crown shifted slow like it felt your stand, loosening one thorn at the command of your head. You muttered if silence makes pain brand, then I shut my mouth for my own sake. Crown glowed faint, though silver in the light, like it bowed its thorns to a man built for fight. And the thorn crown eased when you didn't cry. Darkness pulling back like it feared your trial. Pain bends for the man who doesn't, son. Some truths rise only when the hurt is done. If the hurt steps back, you ain't dying, you're taking your damn heart back. If the hurt steps back, you ain't redeemed, but you ain't going black. Touched the thorns where the blood ran thin. Said if I'm built for hell, then let hell begin. Crown leaned softly like it knew you fight, lifting just enough to let you see the light. Pain bows slow for the ones who stand, for the grit, the scars, the cut in your head. And when the crown loosens from the weight you owe, you walk forward as a man full grown. That field where the dead don't sleep, bones piled high like a promise no man could keep. Moon hung crooked like dull as sin, dust blowing cold across the ruins he'd been in. Camera pans low, his boots crushed brittle ribs, ghosts went humming like an old preacher's cribs. Only one skull sat clean in that death-soaked land, jaw locked tight like a judge where he stand. He fell once more, knees kissing the dirt, hands trembling heavy from a lifetime of hurt. And like always before, that skull turned away as if failure was something it refused to weigh. He whispered, I'm done, maybe this is the fan. But the wind said, boy, get on your feet again. Skull sat still, waiting like a silent judge, till he dug his boots in and refused to budge. And that skull turned back when he rose once more, bones shivering quiet like they seen this before. The dead ain't impressed, but when a man still ready to fight. Camera close, dirt smeared across his jaw. Eyes burning fierce with the truth older than law. He said, I ain't running no more from my head past. No lie, no ghost, no failure holds me fast. Go till it once like it heard his vow. Glowing faint white, yeah, saw him now. He reached for a rib, caught the line in the sand. A ritual mark of a man taking back his stand. The dead around him whisper, try hit him again. Their voices riding the wind like forgotten kin. And mud, if rising's all I got left to give, then damn it, rising's how I flood live. Skull leaned forward like a nod from the grave, like it knew his soul was the peace he'd save. And that skull turned back when he rose once more. Bones humming soft like a long forgotten score. The dead ain't impressed when a man's trying to win. Only when he rises from the weight of his sin. If the fallen look on, you ain't dying. You're taking your damn road on. If the fallen look on, you ain't redeemed, but you ain't staying gone. He touched that skull like a brother he once knew. Said if I rise tonight, I rise true. Skull's hollow eyes glowed faint in the night, like it whispered, boy, go fight. The dead don't clap for the victories you claim, only for the man who gets up just the same. And when that skull turns to watch you stand, you ain't just living, you're taking command. Yeah. Taking command. Yeah. Taking command. Yeah. You ain't just living, you're taking command. Dim, just a crack bulb hanging low. Dust on the glass, like secrets I don't show. I stare myself down, face stiff as stone. Wearing a mask I carved and I die alone. Camera pushes and my fingers tremble on the frame. Hand smelling of whiskey and leftover shame. I said, boy, who the hell you think you found? Mirror spit back silence, colder than any scar. So I told one truth, small but sharp as a knife. Cut through the lies, I've been living like life. And right when the words left my cracked up mouth, the mask split open like a storm blowing south. I whispered, damn, was that all it took? Glass blame was like it finally looked. Mask hit the floor with a hollow sound, and I felt my pulse crawl up from the ground. And the mask cracked wide when I told the truth, like it knew the man hiding wasn't bulletproof. Truth don't save you, it frees the part that can't fight. The part that crawls out when you stop hiding from the night. If the mirror looks back, you ain't broken, you're just getting your soul back. If the mirror looks back, you ain't holy, but you ain't off the track. I picked up the shards, all pieces of my sins, each one showing all the wars I didn't win. Camera wide, moonlight, bleed through the pain, highlighting the man I buried with pain. I heard a voice then, soft but sharp like faith. Baby, stop running, face was standing in a wraith. Then the devil sighed too from the back of my mind, tell one more truth, see what you find. So I said it, I ain't the hero I pretend to be. I'm the fire, the fault, the ghost carrying me. Glass trembled, quiet like it heard my crime. Then glowed faint white like it wanted me to climb. I stood straighter than I had all year, mass dust in my hands, truth ringing clear. I whispered, if honesty's the only road I can, then let this broken face be the one I make. And the mask cracked wide when I told the truth, revealing the man I lost somewhere in my youth. Truth don't save you, it frees the part that could fight, the part that don't bow when the dark bites. Right, if the mirror looks back, you ain't dying, you're taking your damn self back. If the mirror looks back, you ain't redeemed, but you ain't gon' black. Touched the cracks like they carried my name. Said let me rise raw, not carried by shame. Mirror glowed faint like it nodded in the light, like it welcomed the man finally ready to fight. Truth don't save, truth tears you through, burns every mask till the real man moves. And when the lies fall dead at your feet, you face the world with a soul that's complete. My chest like a train full of angry sins. Cold cut sharp through the bones beneath my skin. I slid once, twice, water swallowed my name. Pull me down deep where the dark don't play no games. Camera sinks underwater, arms flailing, breath in, mud in my mouth like the lies I carried in. I muttered, hell, maybe this is where I am been. River said no with a pull I couldn't bend. Lights above warped like a broken crown. My body twisted while the flood dragged down. And somewhere deep past the fear and the pain, my boots found dirt and I rose again. Water here, stay under, this world ain't for you. I whispered back, damn it, I ain't flown through. I planted my feet like I own that floor. Chest burning hot as I pushed once more. And the river split wide when I refused to sink. Flood taking pause like it stopped just to think. Even rivers step aside for the stubborn sun. Some roads open only when your will weighs a ton. If the water pulls back, you ain't drowning, you're taking your damn soul back. If the water pulls back, you ain't holy, but you're walking your path back. To the bank where the reeds grow thin, breath fighting hard like a wolf trapped in. Camera close, hands bleeding on the stone. Cuts mixing cold with the sins I still own. Thunder cracked loud like my daddy's old yell. Voice in my head said, boy, you're crawling toward hell. But another voice soft, she whispered my name. Baby, rise up, you weren't built for heck shame. River behind me settled into quiet foam, like it saw that I wasn't looking for a home. I turned back once, said judge me if you it will, but water don't get to tell a man to be foot still. I stood there shaking, but I stood tall. Feet on the mud like I never again fall. River whispered low, boy, walk your line. Parted clean open like it weren't even mine. And the river split wide when I refused to sink. Cold world watching like it stopped just to think. Even rivers step aside for the stubborn sun. Some men rise heavy but they still run. If the water pulls back, you ain't losing, you're taking your damn heart back. If the water pulls back, you ain't redeemed, but you ain't off the track. Pressed my hand to the mud-soaked shore. Said if I breathe one more breath, I'll take more. River bowed quiet like it knew my fight, and let me walk forward into the night. Even rivers move for a man who stands, who rises slow with blood in his hands. And when the flood steps back from your next step, you ain't the lost one, you're the one that's left. You found that cross lying crooked in the dust, was split open like a promise turned to rust. Wasn't holding no more, just a busted frame, forgotten by every soul who once spoke his name. Camera moves low, your hand bleeding on the grain, blood running quiet like a slow old rain. I heard you whisper, ain't no saint left near me. Wine dancing back, faith ain't meant to be free. You lifted that weight like it weighed your sins, shoulder shaking heart where redemption begins. Cross glowed faint, not miracle, not grace, just a fire you carry deep behind your face. You said if faith won't come, I'll drag it through. Voice cracked low like the truth finally knew. Cross whisper soft, boy, don't walk away. But you said I ain't stopping, not today. And that cross burned bright when you carried it alone. Light shook the dawn ain't been wrong. You walk that ridge with the moon half dead, cross shadow long as the life you led. I follow behind, saw your breath turn white, each step a battle against the cold night's bite. Camera swings wide, ruins trembling in the wind, ghosts of old prayers whispering what might have been. You stop by a stone where your mama once knelt, said, Lord, take the guilt, not the pain I still felt. Then a voice came back through a crack in the air, baby, faith ain't soft, it cuts 'cause it cares. The cross hung low like it understood you, glowing brighter with every truth you push through. You said, if I gotta bleed to earn what's shed mine, then let this weight be the damn sign. Cross tremble slow like it feared your fight, then lit up gold in the hungry night. And that cross burned bright when you carried it alone. Dust turned to fire around the marrow of your bone. Faith ain't given, it's dragged forward raw. Some men rise only when they're breaking the law. If the weight holds on, you ain't sinking, you're just holding your dawn. If the weight holds on, you ain't redeemed, but you ain't gone. Press your hand to that glowing frame, said, judge me honest, not by blood or name. Cross leaned forward like it chose your soul, like it knew damn well you carry the whole. Faith ain't given, it's dragged through, carved in the nights the dark tried to undo you. And when that cross goes under what you shown, it's 'cause you chose to carry it alone. It's 'cause you chose to carry it alone. Hear the dirt for the sunrise broke the night, breath running thin like he lost his fight. Boot tracks faded where his courage fell, dust hanging heavy like a whisper from hell. Camera pushes in his hand, shaky on the ground. Every cent he carried weighed 100 pounds. He muttered, I'm done, with a laugh, half dead, when answered back like a voice in his head. Dead grass cracked under his tired knees, sky bruised purple by the desert freeze. And right before he closed his eyes for good, his shadow stretched long like it finally understood. It leaned ahead like it knew his name, dragged across the earth like a slow black flame. Shadow whispered, boy, you ain't done yet, yet. He gasped, damn, even you won't let me forget. And his shadow moved first, pulled him into the light, like dawn itself bowed down to his fight. If your shadow steps forward, you ain't meant to quit. The lost stay lost till they choose to follow it. If the darkness leads on, you ain't broken, you're just not yet gone. If the darkness leads on, you ain't holy, but you're still holding strong. He pushed himself up with a grunt full of pain, blood on his palms mixing with the desert's grain. His shadow pulled harder, steady as a guide, like he knew the roads he'd been trying to hide. Camera low, boots stumbled through the dust, every step forged in guilt and rust. He heard her voice in the breeze cut cold, baby walk on, let your hurt turn cold. Then a darker whisper rose from his past, sounded like the devil but softer vast. Boy, you kneel now, you kneel for your good, but his shadow snarled back like it never would. He stared at that shadow like staring at a door, said, if you know the way, then lead me no more. It flickered once, then stretched through the sand like a map God drew with his darker hand. And his shadow moved first, dragged him out of the night, road lit famed by the last of his fight. If your shadow steps forward, you ain't meant to sit. Some souls rise only when the dark parts commit. If the darkness leads on, you ain't dying, you're just walking strong.
If the darkness leads on,
You ain't redeemed, but you ain't done wrong. He placed his hand where the sun first shone, whispered, if I walk today, I walk alone. Shadow nodded once like it heard his cry, then pulled him forward beneath the waking sky. If your shadow moves first, follow it through the dirt, 'cause the ones who rise are the ones who hurt and still walk on, even when it burns. He